strap on my blue suede shoe. Well, you can do anything but take me over my blue suede shoe.
Greatest entertainer in history. Now, this is a story that's got my interest. It's in Oregon. It's a story about a 41-year-old track coach who took a 17-year-old member of the track team to the prom. And their school was the Condon High School, and that's the problem with trying to pronounce these things. Let's listen to what's her explanation for what it was. Thank you.
This particular student was one that was on my list to talk to about some issues at school.
So you saw it as a counseling opportunity?
Yeah, and I said, let's make a deal. That'll be fun. Let's talk to your parents.
As soon as I got into this thing, the second or third interview, it was very clear to me there was nothing criminal.
Would you have ever expected this reaction?
No, obviously not. This has turned out to be a disaster.
I guess so, darling. Her husband is 73 years old, by the way, and as Brian pointed out in the break, this woman slow danced twice with this guy and did other things, played civil ball or something. Anyway,
foosball. It's a very romantic game.
Foosball, yeah. I never played that game.
Foosball, it's
I
like
played
soccer.
other romantic games, but not that one.
You spin it.
But so the question now is, she's now been dismissed. Her husband is pulling out. He's the son of the guy who helped create Nike. And so, what do we think? Do we take her explanation? She was trying to counsel the guy, Eric?
You know, normally I wouldn't, because you do this thing. You go, if it was a girl with 17 years old with a 41-year-old male teacher, you'd lose your mind over. But in this case, the father said the father of the young kid, the boy, gave permission. They vetted this thing completely. I would say I'm okay with the teacher doing this. I don't think she should be fired. I think everyone down the line thinks that there's nothing funny going on.
Okay, so she wasn't, though, being paid. She was volunteer track coach.
Yes.
She's 41. If somebody said, hey, on Saturday night, would you like to go to the prom with me? I'd say no. Okay, the problem is he didn't have a date. She felt bad for him. He was doing badly in English. If he was doing badly in English, then he was going to get kicked off the track team. And so out of the goodness of her heart, she did this. Then she calls it a major lack of judgment, which I would say that doing the interview is also a lack of judgment. I can understand that maybe nothing funny happened, but what does she think the 17-year-old boy was thinking?
Right.
The whole time that they were slow dancing and playing King Paul.
I think they did slow dance, caught him by surprise.
Right.
They thought they'd be just doing the hustle.
They thought they were going to be doing the hustle.
Yeah, and they thought, and we know how to do the hustle.
Oh, I hate when that happens, though. When you were out dancing and all of a sudden there was a slow dance.
Andrea, would you take a 16-year-old or 17-year-old to the prom because out of compassion?
No. The answer is no.
Right. What if he was a very fast runner?
Still no.
Okay.
Brian, and I told you I wasn't going to go to your event either. I think this is really disturbing. I agree with you, Dana. And I can understand, Eric, why the dad said, okay, son, you can go. It's so different. I mean, I didn't even when I read the story, I didn't see a picture of her. First thing I said, I go, I bet she's hot.
And she
look
is.
at her. And she is very attractive. She's 41 years old. And here's the weirdest part, folks. She has a child who is on the track team.
Right.
So, I mean, how uncomfortable for her kid to know that his mom is one of his track mates.
But I will say this, the team is very successful.
Yeah, they won the Oregon championship.
They have her at the end of the finish line going, go, boys, go.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't go out with her because she's a lot older than my parameters. But
what is your story? Right. What is your story, Bob? How do you relate to this?
How do I relate to it? I relate to it, I actually took somebody from when I was in college. A friend of my family's called and said that their daughter couldn't get a date to the prom, so I took her to the prom in New Jersey.
And you were happy to oblige.
Yeah, and we wore purple suits.
Nice.
I remember that in New Jersey.
How'd it go?
It was. I don't really want to get into that with you, but it was fine.
You know what we could do next year? We could raffle off for charity a chance for someone to go to the prom with you.
And then
in your disco suit.
And then he'd get in trouble. Then someone would call him out for it.
He'd apologize on Hannity at the end of the week.
You know, I don't know if I actually trust Bob to do that.
To do what?
I trust him.
To give the money to charity?
For you to go with a young girl to the prom.
You wouldn't trust me to go take a young girl to the prom?
Maybe if I could chaperone.
Well, there you go. You know, all those things only happen in Bangkok. Listen, one more thing is up next.
You slipped it in, dude.
What happened?
Don't you love her?